Okay. Okay. Welcome and thank you to everyone. I have the great privilege of introducing our first speaker of the Business Breakaway sessions, Kate Nkatha. Kate is the Commercial Director of Fairtrade Africa and is with us from Kenya today. And she'll be talking to us about sustainable trade. Fair trade is one sure way of achieving systemic and sustainable communities. An interactive session with Fairtrade Africa. I know she's got many pearls of wisdom and I hope you're all going to learn a lot. Thanks, Kate.
Thank you for having me, Chantel. I hope you can see me. All right, good. I'm trying to share my screen. Gosh, what has happened? Good afternoon from people in East Africa and beyond, and good morning for those on the +3 GMT, below +3 GMT. There's a small session here we'll discuss about sustainable trade. My name is Kate Nkatha. I'm the Commercial and Sustainability Director at Fairtrade Africa, where we empower agricultural producers through sustainable trade. And let's see how that works, and is it really a myth or a reality? Generally speaking, sustainable trade is really having the intersection of a commercial exchange that delivers both social impact, economic impact, and environmental impact. So ideally really addressing the 3 Ps of sustainability, looking at the people through their social investment, ensuring that there's sufficient infrastructure and an enabling environment for them to thrive, looking at the planet, and doing business, production, mining, whatever it may be, while still respecting the environment and even living it better than you did. And the economic empowerment that is able then to deliver and address other factors of the Sustainable Development Goals. So education, hunger, reduced poverty, decent work. So all those can really be achieved if we're looking at trading, having commercial exchanges in a way that really impacts all this, while everybody is really winning in the spectrum of the value chain. But what are the enabling environments? What are the enabling things that would help us achieve this? For sustainable trade, there really has to be a lot of partnership and collaboration and joint objectives, both from the manufacturing, the producing part, and to the consumer across the full value chain. But aspects like policy, enabling policy environments, add a big role, a big enabler to commercial trade. May it be taxes, tariff or non-tariff barriers, ensuring that we have policies that support marginalized groups in different societies. Could be women, could be men, gender across. It could be the youth or the women that we need to support, ensuring that we are able to lobby and ensure we get the right policy environment that supports sustainable trade. Traceability and quality of the products, control, collection of data, innovation, use of technology, for us to be able to look at how does the product or the service move from source to consumption, and being able to evaluate the impact along the way, and being able to really analyze and see what's working, what's not working, how do we improve, use of technology and innovation. This is important to enable sustainable trade. And then there's investment. There has to be investment, just like Thembe talked about earlier. We have to invest, and the investment can come in different ways, from a social capital perspective, from impact investment, sustainable financing models. There really has to be some investment of whatever shape in an incremental manner where possible based on the business model. So that is a space that we are in as Fairtrade Africa in the sustainable trade. And in terms of fair trade, two-word fair trade. So fair trade as two-word is really trading in terms on a partnership-based trading with dialogue, transparency, and traceability, as well as respect across the different spectrums within the value chain, and ensuring that we are able to deliver great equity in international and even local trade. And all this really go towards achieving some of the sustainable development goals, and especially for Africa, where we really need to ensure that we're looking at sustainable across different lenses to deliver this for Africa. So as fair trade, two words, we'll be looking at, we look at sustainability that addresses your climate change, so climate smart agricultural production, shipment, retailing. There's a food security, how are we contributing to the different countries and governments in terms of their food security. There's a gender equality issue that is also embedded in our standards and certification process, which also then the center of it is sustainable trade. And we ensure that then our producers are able to have decent work and decent living. So really fair trade as two words, that is what aims to achieve. And how do we do it as fair trade? Fair trade, one word. So fair trade principles are really embarked around the fair trade two-word international principles. And fair trade towards really is a big movement of many organizations, almost around 360 organizations across the world, that then supports a sustainability approach to business. So coming home as fair trade, and one word, and a Fairtrade International with a local office called Fairtrade International. We create opportunities for economically disadvantaged producers. 80% of our producers are small producer organizations. We organize them in groups called cooperatives or producer organizations, and that is able to then give them a lot more volume, voice, and bargaining power with the buyers across the world. Traceability and accountability, again, we embed systems and processes that ensure that the trader is able to get the right price, a fair price for their product. As fair trade, we have standards and certification processes that then address issues of gender equality and freedom of association. There is we promote fair trade, so ensuring that we are able to skill our producers to negotiate and get the best price. But however, how do we ensure that then the producer gets the right price? To begin with, we have the fair trade minimum price. So this really guarantees that the producer will receive a price that is not below the fair trade minimum price. And this price may or may not be the commercial price of the day, but as long as it's you're trading under fair trade terms, then there's this floor price, the minimum price that you can achieve. And this price is really built to ensure that the average cost of production by the producer is covered. That meets their decent livelihood objectives. So there's always room for the producers then to negotiate and sell at a much higher price based on the market prices of the day. But over and above that, our buyers then pay a premium over and above the minimum price. And this extra price really goes to the producer who invests in economic, social, and environmental projects. For example, infrastructure, either roads or schools and hospitals. They could upgrade their factories so that there's more efficiency, there's reduction of costs. And so all this then comes back to the producer to address the 3 Ps that we talked about earlier. The other aspect in terms of the Fairtrade Africa, Fairtrade International business model of sustainable trade is integrated supply chain, looking from the producer all the way to the processor or manufacturer, the importer or trader, to the point of sale, either the retailer in whichever form, it could be or a physical store where the consumer actually picks the product. So again, really looking at that whole chain, and that is where one of our partner organizations, Flossat, comes in to ensure that there's integrity in this whole process, that we are able to trace and track the product from source to consumption. And this is guided by standards that are developed, and then producers, traders are certified to be able to trade. There's a lot of partnership and negotiations that go along the value chain, and fair trade really comes to ensure that we're able to match the buyers to the producers at the right price. And another way that they were able to differentiate and communicate that this particular product or service is produced and sourced fairly is the use of fair trade marks. Some of them could indicate that this product is 100% sourced on fair trade, for example, like 100% cocoa bar, so that is purely from fair trade, or it could be a product that has a mixture of fair trade products as well as non-fair trade certified products. So that communication again tries to give confidence and assurance to the consumer that they are supporting sustainable trade across the chain. So in terms of numbers, we're in 72 countries, but in Africa, we support farmers in 32 countries, supporting around 1.2 smallholder farmers and workers. So really great impact that goes into supporting the GDP of Africa. 80% of the cocoa traded on fair trade terms comes from West Africa. So again, ensuring that we're looking at commodities that the consumer will enjoy and continue enjoying, and sourcing that from Africa and leaving the impact in Africa. Just as an example, in 2019, about 190 million euros premium was earned. That is the additional money that the buyers actually paid to go back to the producers. And out of this, close to half of it came to Africa across all the 32 countries, where then the producers are able to invest in their social, economic, and environmental activities. Again, there was an example earlier about coffee, and we have great coffee producers in Ethiopia as well, partnering with great brands like Starbucks to ensure that then the farmer is able to achieve more. So this is just an example in terms of the use of fair trade premium. What do the producer organizations invest in, and how do we track that? So again, because of the traceability and the use of technology of collecting data, we're able to tell how is the premium impacting the communities, and the partners who work with us, how are they able then to attribute their support to the community. Majority of it, about 55% of it, goes to projects and activities and address that their reduction to hunger.
Sorry to disturb you there, but your slides are not moving and they are also not full screen. Do you just mind scrolling them down as you go, and also perhaps put them on full screen? Sorry.
Yeah, they're on full screen. Can you see now? Actually, at the end.
We can see them, but they are not full screen. So you need to put them on presentation mode.
On my end, it is. So what slide can you see? Sorry about the technological challenge.
Okay, we can see slide 7 at the moment, yeah.
Okay, and it's on slideshow. Let me know if it's on slideshow.
Still not, but don't
worry about it. I'm almost at the end. Yeah. Let me just increase the percentage, maybe. I don't know why it's not. Yes, so I was talking about the impact that we have in 32 countries in Africa, and and how the premiums are used, majority of them to address hunger within the community, no poverty. Some of the premiums, about 20% of them, are used to invest in income generating activities, for example, setting up buildings or transport machinery that is able to generate revenue for the producers. So from an ecosystem, then we work with different partners who then can benefit in this model and support the achievement of the sustainable goals or CSR goals, if I can put it loosely. So if I just can give a practical example, is the areas that we work in, like coffee, cocoa, and we work with partners who then produce these chocolates, for example, the Maltesers. We have things like wine, which is greatly sourced from South Africa, bottled and sold in very many countries across Europe and in Africa. And this is where truly I believe there's still a big opportunity for Made in Africa products. A lot of these products and the producers that we support over the years, we've been supporting them in selling products in developed markets. But we are at the stage now where we're also looking at the African market. How do we then increase our inter-Africa trade with these products and more products based on the demand that is coming within the continent? I'm about to play a video. Let me know if you can see it and if it plays. Oh, God. Oh.
Kate, I think we've run out of time now, so perhaps you just want to wrap up and summarize.
Yeah, it's called technology. I'm sorry about that. I think maybe we could run the polls and maybe just have a few questions out of that, then it summarizes our discussion today.
Okay.
We're very curious to know.
So if anyone has any questions,
is sustainable trade a myth or a reality? Yeah.
So there are polls. If you go to the poll tab, you'll see there's some questions there. Okay.
So is sustainable trade a myth or reality? I don't know if the audience can see it.
So the polls are on the right hand of your screen. You'll see there's a little block that says polls.
Yeah, well, they take the poll. Maybe we could I could take any questions that we have.
Good idea. Okay, so if there's any questions, please can you type them into the Q&A section and we'll make sure that we get those through to Kate. I saw a hand wander up there. Okay. Oh, why can't I see the questions? Okay, we can't see hands going up, so if you can type those questions, that would be great. Either in the discussion panel or in the Q&A section.
Yeah, there's a question that has come direct to me in terms of, and the question is, how then do we get Africans to invest in Africa in terms of productions? Because a lot of the production is then shipped abroad and comes back as finished goods. And I think it loops back to my initial enabler to sustainable trade, where we really need to start looking at investment here. The opportunities are there. In 2040, we'll have about 2 billion people in Africa. So again, looking at the macroeconomics, the indicators really show there are huge opportunities. I think it's really just do smart investment here in Africa and stimulate consumption of products. I believe it's doable, and we're in that space as well.
Thank you, Kate.